At the start of this year, I predicted that I would expect new build and off-plan properties to be even more popular this year than they were last year. And so far, this has proven to be the case. So in this week's episode, what I'm going to do is quickly guide you through how we help our clients when they are looking to purchase an off-plan property here in this area, and show you how easy it can be if you're in the market for a new off-plan property. So welcome to this week's episode. It's number 129 of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hundon Valley Homes. Now, for 100% clarity, what I'm going to do first is to differentiate between new builds. Now, that's properties that are actually finished and for sale, which in truth you're not going to find an awful lot of around this time, because most of the properties are actually built to order. And off-plan properties, which are basically ground up, clean sheet of paper properties, and they're going to be the topic of today's video. So, you're looking to buy or build an off-plan property here in Spain. So how do you start? So very simplistically, what you want to ask yourself is the following. So number one, where do you want to live? And within that area, you need to find a suitable plot of land to live on. The land needs to have obviously building permission, and hopefully it's going to have connections to things like water, electricity, and maybe fast internet is important to you. The second question you're going to ask yourself is, are you going to use a pre-existing design from a builder and modify it to suit your liking? Or are you going to start basically with a clean sheet of paper and design a property 100% to your liking? Now, obviously, this is going to be the more expensive option, as you're going to be building a bespoke designed villa. So initially, you need to start looking online at the kind of villas that you like, the sort of styles that appeal to you. So do you like what we would call the very modern, or they're often called the white box style villas? Do you like a traditional villa? So that's a traditional villa with, say, an apex roof and lots of arches. Or perhaps you would like something that we sort of term as a fusion villa, which could be something which is more traditional exterior, but then you can have a very modern interior. Now you need to think about things, sort of the specifications. So once you've decided on the shape and whatever of the villa, you now to think about how many bedrooms are you going to want, obviously, how many bathrooms, how many of them are going to be ensuite, guest bathrooms, things like this. Do you want a swimming pool or not? If you do want a swimming pool, do you want an 8 metre by 4 metre? Do you want a 10 metre by 5 metre? Do you want a rectangular pool? Do you want a kidney-shaped pool? Do you want a pool that is a salt pool or a chlorine pool? Things like a garage. Do you want a garage? Do you want a carport? Do you want both? Do you want a double garage? The orientation of the plot, the orientation of the property. Do you want it south-facing? Things like this. What distribution are you looking for in the property? Do you want one level, 2 levels, perhaps an underbuild beneath? And finally, and probably most importantly, your budget. How much do you actually want to spend? Now, whilst we're briefly talking about budget, it's worth mentioning that since the end of 2021, early 2022, the cost of off-plan properties has risen between sort of 20 and 25%. And this is due to the huge increase in the cost of building materials and their availability. Now, in all probability, the costs, they look like they're going to continue to rise because this situation doesn't seem to be getting any better. So it's great for clients who have already signed contracts and fixed prices. But if you're in the market for looking for new builds, bear in mind that the costs are rising, and obviously they're probably rising quicker than your budget. I would also advise that when you are setting your budget, you build in a contingency fund. Clients often make changes. They ask the builder for extra this, extra that, and obviously that comes at a cost. It's very rare that the cost of a building will come down. Generally, the prices go up. And if there is a material cost or a labour cost to the builder, obviously they're going to pass on that cost to yourself. So all of the aforementioned considerations about the plot, the building, the specifications, with all of those taken into account, you can do all of that from the comfort of your own home. You don't need to be here in Spain. However, what you do when you're here in Spain is obviously very important. So what we're going to do now is consider what you need to be doing when you've got your feet on the ground and you're actually looking to make the best use of your time whilst you're here. looking for the property and the plot. Now, this is where the preparation that you've already done pays out dividends many, many times over. The time that you spent doing all your research, it's going to save you countless time when you're here in Spain. And probably when you're here in Spain, your time is going to be limited. So the more work that you can do from home, the better, so that when you get here, your time is used an awful lot more productively. So now you need to choose your plot of land. Now, if you're in an urban environment, i.e. on an urbanisation or on the edge of a town or a village, then the choice of plot is going to be relatively limited, as you may get to choose a plot on a development that is already being constructed by the builder. Similar to the modern villas that we built here in La Montañosa last year, or the big builds that you tend to see down on the coast. Now, if you're not buying in an urban area, you're obviously going to be buying in the countryside, which is what we're more associated with here in the Hondon Valley. Now, if you're buying in the countryside, you're probably going to go with your agent or with the builder, and you're going to look at some plots of land that are currently available. These are either going to be owned by the builder, or he's going to have a relationship with the landowner, and he's going to have access to purchasing these plots if clients are looking at having a property built on them. Now, I don't want to sound at all like a salesperson, but if you find a great piece of land and it ticks all of your boxes, my advice is you really do need to move quite quickly. We've done countless viewings with clients in the past, and they've taken a week or so to make up their minds, and when they finally decided and called to reserve the plot, they've only found out that it's been taken from under their feet. It's either been bought by somebody who's seen it on the first time, or another agent or whatever have been along and they've made an offer and they've got the plot straight away. Unfortunately, in Spain, unlike the UK, say, when you're agreeing the sale of a property or a piece of land, a handshake isn't enough. It's reservation deposits, and it is contracts with your lawyer. So you know, if you do find a piece of land that you fall in love with, you need to move quickly. Now, what you'll actually find is that most of the best plots of land that are available with water, building permission, electricity, are going to be tied to a builder, and it's going to come as some part of a build package, so that the builder who owns that land will be the one who will build on that plot. It's less common but not impossible to find plots that are privately owned and for sale, and if you do find one of those, then you have to go down the line of obviously finding a builder to do the work for you, and that's a topic for another video perhaps in the future. However, if you do decide to buy as a package, i.e. buy the land and have the builder together, then the builder will take care of things like all of the licenses and permissions, and they probably will have already done so they'll know that that piece of land can have a villa built on it. If you buy privately, you obviously need to be extra cautious, as this land can be to find out whether the land can be developed in the first place, whether it has access to things like water and electricity, and whether there's plans to put internet in the area, things like that. So let's say you've met with a builder, you've decided on the design of the property, you've found the plot, you've fixed the budget. The next step is a build contract, which is normally drawn up by your lawyer and your builder. And your lawyer will write a tailored business contract for you, outlining the property specifications to be built. It will outline the plot details, the responsibilities and the details of all of the parties concerned from the builder and your side. There will be a payment profile as well, so that the builder, as he hits predetermined targets, they get paid. They will be the initial deposit and some money held back at the end, so that when the property is finished, when you go to the notary, there's one small payment to make at the very end. And this is all written down in a build contract. And as I said, this is done by your builder and your lawyer, and it's done with the mutually beneficial for all parties involved. Once everything is agreed with all parties, the contract is signed and all finalised, then we're ready to proceed. Now, most clients during the 6 to 8 month build that it takes the builders to generally build a property will travel out 2, 3, maybe 4 times to monitor the build. However, many clients will also sell up in their country and come over here to Spain and rent a property and watch the construction over the 6 to 8 months. And this has got the added benefit that you're always on hand to answer any questions that the builder may have throughout the build process. However, if you're not able to be here, it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. Your presence is really only needed on 1 or 2 occasions in order to go with the builder and choose things like the floor and wall tiles, the kitchen and the bathroom furniture. However, as an example, and the way that things have progressed over the years, during the COVID period, we were building lots of houses and everything was done by WhatsApp. We were showing clients tiles, electrical fittings, where they wanted things in the property, and it was all done during WhatsApp conversations or Zoom, things like that. So there are options available to you if you're not able to come over here. Now, if you were paying attention, you will have heard me just say that the average build time is 6 to 8 months, and this is the normal sort of build time here in Spain. However, I think there are a couple of issues that you need to be aware of so that you can get your timeline planning in good order. Now, number one, the builders here are exceptionally busy, and although the build time can be 6 or 8 months, it may well be that your chosen builder won't be able to start your project for 4, 5, 6 months due to the backlog that they have of ongoing projects that they need to start. Also in Spain, the month of August, as an example, is a shutdown month when not really a lot happens in Spain. The builders, the lawyers, the notaries, the town halls, they all take extended holidays, so it's not possible to get things like planning permission sorted as quickly as you would like. A big factor that everybody is aware of as we go into different times nowadays is that material availability is not what it once was. Now, some materials are taking way longer to source, and this needs to be taken into consideration. Builders might ask for a larger initial deposit to guarantee against increased build costs in the future. And we're finding this is more and more common nowadays as the material costs are rising quicker than anybody is happy with. However, with all the timeline planning and the contracts and the lawyer and a good builder, great plot, in 6 to 8 months from the construction start, you should have your dream home here in Spain, in the Spanish sun. It should be built to your exact specification, on the plot of your choice, and to the budget that you predetermined. And all that is actually left to do is actually the handover from the builder, the final payments and the completion of the sale at the notary, and your dream home is ready for you to enjoy for many years to come. Now, of course, this is a really very shortened version, a very simplified version of the events. And if I'd gone into more detail, it would be many episodes, each of them 60 minutes long. But what I've just explained to you is a flavour of what to be expected, so that if it's something that you are considering, it's not as scary a prospect as you think it may be. Of course, there will be differences between builders and different areas, small and large developments, rustic and urban, but at least what you've got is a flavour of what to expect if this is a route that you decide that you want to go down at some point in the future. If you have any questions about this, my details should be on the screen at the moment, so please feel free to drop me a line and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you. Our website is full of useful information. We have buyers and sellers sections in there. We have all the 2 Minute Tuesday videos. We've got lots of free to download ebooks and articles that we have written on there to help both buyers and sellers of property here in Spain. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, found it interesting, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with a new episode for you. But until then, have a great day, and thank you for taking the time to watch. Adios.